A treat. Margaret, you're my sister, and Ted, you're such a great colleague. And we see Jean Werner and others that are just joining us as we're all in one tent as we mobilize and galvanize support for one another.
Oh, thank you, Edie. You have inspired so many of us, and all of you who have never met Edie Frazier, you are in for a treat today. She is going to change your world. So we are very, very excited, and I think we should get this party going. We have so much to share about the action and the impact of Women in Insurance Initiative, STEM Connector, Million Women Mentors. So happy to welcome you all today. And I want to wish you first a very happy Women's History Month. And I like to say every month is Women's History Month. We are all about action and growth and community in the work that we do. And we are all in this tent together, as Edie said. So if you haven't joined All Intent on LinkedIn, please do. It is a great landing place to find out everything you need to know about what's going on in insurance representation and equity. So let's go to the next slide. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are and who I am. I am the chair of the Women in Insurance Initiative, Margaret Ressi Milkent, and I was recruited to this organization by Edie Frazier, who is the founder of Million Women Mentors. Edie had a vision over 7 years ago, and she said, insurance is STEM. Edie, you were the first to say it. And now we evangelize that, we live that in our mission. So we're dedicated to making change, to taking action, and focusing on really creating the intersection of insurance and STEM. We are STEM in insurance, and we have such great work to do. We have more to do, but we have a lot to celebrate. So let's get on to the celebration. Next slide. We're going to be talking about the great work today of our Catalyst Committee, and you're going to hear about Laura Deutschler's team and all the great work we are doing for our Day of Action and our toolkit. And then we're going to go to our fireside chat, where I have the honor and privilege of chatting with my dear beloved mentor, friend, and sister, Edie Frazier. I want to offer thanks to the network of leaders that support and fuel the work of the Women in Insurance Initiative: Accord, Omnia Paratus, Marsh, Plus Ultra, the Actuarial Foundation, Ryan Specialty Group, and Verisk. Thank you for your leadership. And if you're interested in joining our wonderful network of leaders, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it and welcome you into our community. We always like to start out with quotes, especially from powerful women. And Serena Williams says, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're stronger when we cheer each other on. We're better when we cheer each other on. We lift and support each other. And that's our mantra. That's our motto. That's our message as we go forward. So one of our big updates for Q1 is the work of the Catalyst Committee. So I want to cheer on this Catalyst Committee. They are amazing. Laura Deutschler, our wonderful chair, is in a board meeting right now. She is making a difference in the world as we speak right now at the board table. So I want to thank Laura Deutschler. She is a corporate director for Germania and People Corp and MSIG. I want to shout out Yolanda Austin of Accord, Megan Bell of Falvey Insurance Group, Katie Hughes of Farm Bureau of Michigan, Anna Haldreth, Insurance Retirement Institute, Megan Bach, Federato, Candace Duncan, Security First Insurance Company, Anna Masandaro of Omnia Piratus, and of course, Laura. So let's give them a big hand. They are the wind in the wings here. They are doing an amazing job. So we've launched this red hot Catalyst Committee in Q3 of 2023. They have been very action oriented, creating a playbook to improve diverse talent pipelines. And right now, we've organized a day of action, which is really a month plus of action, where we are out in our communities bringing insights and speeches and mentoring to the industry, into the classrooms, into the networking associations. This is something, Edie, that we are so proud of. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a great word picture. These are the things that the Day of Action is doing right now. Presentations in the classrooms, lunch and learns, mentoring, careers days, presentations to boys and girls clubs. It's all about bringing the message that insurance is STEM to the world, not just to the world. We're just going to say to the world. It is so exciting. If you're interested in joining us, we welcome you in. We make it so easy. We've got a toolkit. We had a webinar that was so well attended. We had 80 people there who are grabbing that toolkit and going out into their communities. So we'll be publicizing this. We'll be continuing our wonderful Day of Action activities. And I want to thank you. And we're going to be reporting out in our Q2 meeting. So let's move on to our last slide on Catalyst Committee. And we do have a rollout here for you to take a look at. We have a one-pager and we have a website. And that is courtesy of our wonderful friends at STEM Connector. And I can't thank Ted Wells, president of STEM Connector, enough for his leadership, his belief, his lift for all of us. And without further ado, I want to turn over to Ted Wells. Welcome, Ted. We are so happy that you're with us today.
Thank you so much, Margaret. It's great to see you and looking forward to seeing you. Sorry, I missed you in DC recently, but looking forward to seeing you soon. It has been amazing working with the Women in Insurance Group, along with my colleague Janine Konicki, who is on as well, and Renee Aaron and Kylie Messier. We are very excited about all the work you're doing. We love the action-oriented approach. So thank you very much for working with us, and we look forward to helping, be a facilitator to you achieving big things in 2024. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce two people. Margaret is I've known Margaret from a little bit of a distance for a number of years. And I don't think Margaret needs too much of an introduction for this group, but needless to say, I did not know, Margaret, that you are you studied French in college, which I did too. So we share that. And just have, Margaret is no stranger to folks on this call as a leader, a stalwart for DEIB in not just the insurance industry, and has just an amazing career, starting off at Allstate and really of late really helping place people into roles at leading companies in this space. And also as the co-founder of the Women in Insurance Initiative, and really the chief activator of this group. So Margaret, it's been wonderful getting to know you, and look forward to working together this year. The other person I know I could write their biography on the back of my hand is Edie Frazier, who back in 2011 I spoke to on the phone. Back then we didn't do Zooms. And she said, I'm starting this STEM initiative. You should come and work for me. We'll try it out. And I Googled STEM to see what that meant. And a few weeks later, I was in her office working away, and then what would be the beginning of STEM Connector. And then in 2014, we launched the Million Women Mentors Initiative in DC. And Edie has always been, not just for me, but for me personally, somebody who believes in what I am capable of and helps me get there. And that's truly what a mentor is. And it's sometimes it's tough love, sometimes it's encouragement, sometimes it's just checking in to say hey. But Edie is always, I felt, and I've watched her mentor so many other people at various ages and stages in their lives. So it's something that she does par excellence. And then Edie is also an accomplished entrepreneur, having started the STEM Connector, Million Women Mentors, and then lately the Women's Business Collaborative, and before that, Diversity Best Practices. Edie also is an accomplished author, and I loved attending the Women Mean Business. This is, you can see it on the screen here, launch event this past fall. What an amazing book. I highly recommend getting a copy, and if they're still available, and looking through it. Some just amazing stories of women. I actually gave it to a friend of mine who's starting their own business as a gift to help inspire her. So without further ado, Edie, it's a pleasure to have the honor of introducing you, and thank you for all you've done for me and for people, especially women, everywhere. And Margaret, I'll turn it over to you.
Ted, thank you so much for your friendship and believing in all that we do. And it really is a true honor. I have goosebumps, Edie, because this is a rare opportunity. Edie is always lifting up other women. But today, everyone, we get to hear from Edie. We get to hear from a woman who cares and mentors and lives her mission, purpose, values every day. So, Edie, thank you for gifting us with your wisdom, with your love, with your mentoring, and of course, with this book. With this amazing book, Women Mean Business. We are thrilled, and I am excited to tell everyone on this call, we've got a book for you. So look in the chat. We're going to get you this book. You're going to love it, and it is our way to say thank you and pass it on. That's what I love to do with my books. I love to read them. I love to write a little inscription in them, Edie, and I love to pass them on. That's what we do. So, Edie, we're going to have a chance to have a bit of fun together, and we always have fun together. That's joy, that is relationship, that's community. And I think we don't talk about that enough, Edie, in our work. It is important work, and yes, it can be serious, but it's so joyful, isn't it?
It is so joyful and so inspirational. So, Margaret, first to you, I think we are just thrilled to see you as an icon in the insurance industry.
Edie.
And I think as we think about not only the Women in Insurance Initiative, and that you've joined recently, as of March, our board of Women's Business Collaborative, and been there as a chair of the advisory and now on Companies of Purpose. But you've been there at every organization. We start with Accord and Tanya and the group. But if you look at the Dive-In Festival and the Supper Club and the insurance, it is every organization you've touched to bring others in. So thank you. And to Ted, we're just thrilled. Ted was there after we started STEM Connector together, and we were out in Seattle when we came up with Million Women Mentors. And we said, could we get 1 million? And we stood at the National Press Club about 3 months later with 150 key people and announced we'd hit 1 million in 5 years, and Million Women Mentors hit the 2.5 million mentors, sponsors, internships, apprenticeships, and online. And we keep going in terms of that, all with the uplifting of others. So I just want to say a big tribute, and we can talk about love and affection And we can talk about daily collaboration, and we can talk about who we uplift. And we say in the book that it is all about elevating and celebrating. So, my mission is to do that for at least 5 women a day. And I think if you don't do it one day, you have to do 7 the next that you're in touch with, that you support, because that changes the numbers. And Margaret, I just
I
would
love
love
that.
to share, when we came up with the book with Andy Simon and Robin Weissman and picked those leaders, the book is so special because of the 5 wisdoms of each woman. And when you look at it and think about those wisdoms, so just have to share as they talk about the kind of passion and energy and perseverance. And we all go 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards, but then we lift each other up, right? But I'll
Yes,
just
we
say
do.
on the book, this is one of 50 major events we've done across America. And we're now scheduling all the way through the end of the year with ERGs and BRGs and the women's organizations. We're headed out to WeBank and the Women's Forum of New York tomorrow in New York, and everywhere as we talk about uplifting women and what we're all doing to move the needle. Women in corporate, women in finance, women entrepreneurs, women running nonprofits, and all of us as we uplift every day.
Oh, Edie, thank you so much for all you do. And I have to tell you, one thing I learned from Edie, and I've learned a lot of things. One thing I really learned is to say yes. Just say yes. When I said yes to Edie Frazier, it changed my life. So, Edie, thank you for that. And that's a wisdom that I learned from Edie Frazier. So, Edie, your passion is so clear and so evident, but you're so generous. You're so generous with your time, with your thoughts, with that wisdom of yours. You ignite us, you build, and you push us forward, as Ted says. You don't stop. Tell us your secret sauce. We
But
want to
we
hear it.
don't we do it together, juntas, right? None of us do it alone. There's no way Million Women Mentors would achieve a women's business collaborative with 85 organizations, 10 million business women. So, I say, as we look at Amanda Gorman, as she really instilled, see the light. This country is going through trauma. And yet, if we can keep focused on the positives and we all making a difference, I just pulled this because I think I'm obsessed with seeing women encourage, support, and empower other women. And that's with our male colleagues like Ted. It's my favorite, and we need to do more of it.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
We're going to share that too, everybody. Thank you, Edie. So I want to dig into your amazing book, Women Mean Business, and it is a treasure trove. It really is. You can just randomly pick a page, everybody, and you can read the 5 wisdoms. And it's almost like magic that you find a wisdom that you need for that moment, for that meeting, for that time of day. And we did pick a few of our favorite quotes, a few of my favorite quotes, Edie, to talk about. But I would love for you to tell us how to unlock the wisdom of this book and make it actionable. Make it actionable in our work, in our lives, in the mission, in what we're doing on the side of our desk, in the front of our desk. How do you do it, Edie? And then we'll take a look at some of our quotes as well, if we can.
It's great, but you can pull anybody. Here's Sheila Johnson, who, as you know, started Black Entertainment Television, then moved to Salamander, But you know, just some of her wisdom, build a network. That's what we're all doing. There are no small tasks. You got to think big and bold. Never burn bridges and never stop asking questions and support other women. You'll go through every one of these people and learn so much about their wisdoms and what they're all doing to build. And I know, Margaret, we would request anyone who wants to do an event with us. We've already done 3 colleges and but even we're doing 10 banks and financial firms are holding events. One of them, Truist, is getting 4,000 people on from their BRGs and talking through. It's uplifting and it's a great retention strategy because for every event, we have 4 or 5 people that are in the book speak, and then we did with IBM a session for 120 Black women in Atlanta. And every time they share their wisdom and their needs as we all support them.
I love that, Edie. And we're so excited to bring Women Mean Business to insurance. We can learn so much from other industries. And I like to say those other industries can learn from us as well. There's a commingling and intersectionality. But I love this book. This is a game changer, everybody. Women Mean Business is a game changer. And I think that best books are the ones that you use again and again, and that you share and that you gift. You know, as Ted said, you know, when someone starts a new business, starts a new job, going on back into the workforce after a hiatus. This is a book that you can pick up and it is inspiring. Kylie, would you share with us a few of the quotes that we wanted to get Edie's thoughts and impressions on, and really your take on it, Edie? We have some fast facts that we want to share. So insurance is leading other industries in gender diversity, with about 60% of the industry workforce comprised of women. That's the good news. That's the news from the Insurance Information Institute. We know we need to do better for women of color. We know we need to do better in the C-suite and in the boardroom. But we are doing better, Edie. We're doing better. So leadership is action, not position. Don't measure your success by title. Measure it by impact. I love that from Carol Tomé.
It is all about impact. So it's a delight to have her, and it's a delight to really see, Margaret, those that are truly impactful and what they're doing to reach out. So can you imagine, we're thinking right now of doing with one of the designers, a woman's pin for every woman that would show the uplifting of women and a bracelet that would go. So if HRC can do the gay and LGBTQ and Ukraine can do the 2-color, we can do a universality of knowing what we're all doing to mentor, to sponsor, to build, correct?
Oh, I love that.
Margaret, I think that the best news is we've got to build upon the 60% and what the skill sets are for those that want to increase between what AI and other skills are. But we're also seeing that insurance is ahead of the other industry on women in boards. That is incredible because overall we're at about 33%, but the insurance industry is about 40%.
Wow.
Women CEOs across the board are at about 7%. But as you've worked with USAA and Prudential and Progressive and the others, we focus on those women that are uplifting the others all the way. And Ted will take all the men that we can in this journey as our compatriots and supporters.
Absolutely. Now, we've got some good news in insurance, and we've got to share that, and we've got to build on it. This is our moment. This is the time where we have to keep the gas going. The acceleration has to keep going. We can't let up. We have to keep that power going and doing it together, that shared learning with other industries. I think that's part of the secret sauce, Edie. Let's take a look at the next slide, Kylie. Did you know women are well represented in the insurance industry, but are lacking in leadership positions? Only 33.5% of executive women are in the largest insurance companies. This is the work. And this is why we're on this call today, because we want our women to be game changers. We want to take advantage of technology, modernization, transformation. We want to be that big M and big S and big T and big E. That's insurance is STEM. We see it across all sectors, Edie. We see it in actuarial science, data science, underwriting, claims, human resources, every area, we are seeing it. And AI is such a moment for insurance. And what a fun time this will be, because we are in the midst of a revolution. And not an evolution. I'm going to say the R word. It's a revolution, and it's exciting. And insurance is a big part of the action and the conversation.
Margaret, there are so many examples that insurance is the most purposeful of every industry. If we look at health insurance, property and casualty insurance, all the areas that are really supporting the lives of families, etc. We don't tell that story, but those are great jobs for women to lead. So as you talk about the Tricia Griffiths, and you talk about the Caroline Feeneys, and you talk about your USAA, etc., what are those women and the good men with them as they are truly leading with purpose? And if we talk that and learn that and exude that and apply transparent data to our success, then we are game changers.
Absolutely. And Lanny Phillips' quote is so powerful. We always have to remember that it's important to get comfortable being uncomfortable, taking ourselves out of that proverbial comfort zone, saying yes, leaning in, doing something new, doing what Edie does, reaching out to 5 new people a day, lifting other women. Grace Vandercruz always says, we lift as we climb. We lift as we climb. That's how we do it. That's how we do it in insurance. That's how we do it in the world, right, Edie?
100%. And we do it together. So find the posse. And as we say, women of color, LGBTQ, it's just, as it's being attacked, we can't run away from it, because as we've been saying all these years, it's the demographics of the nation. It's our customers. It's our suppliers. And it's those that buy insurance. So what we know is that as 19% of Hispanics are in the population, and we go and go and go and take everyone, we understand why we need to be side by side with one another.
Absolutely. Let's be side by side. And as we do the work, and we're doing the work of inclusion, it is representation and it is equity. And Edie, you've been saying that all along. And we need to keep saying it, and we keep acting on it, because insurance is mission driven, purpose driven. There's so much to be proud of. So much to be proud of. Insurance is good. Insurance does good. And we are really working hard to bring in even more Generation Z, and we'll start working on those alphas as well. So this quote, I think we can do something about, Edie. Did you know more than half of millennials, Gen Z, say their manager is actively developing them for leadership compared with just 38% of women? So I can't see that number, and maybe somebody can share that, but we know that women need mentorship. They do need mentorship. They need a personal advisory board. It makes a difference. Having
And
those
Margaret,
people to guide you along the way.
and we add the sponsorship because in all the companies we know that is the advocate when we look at the advancing of talent, right? And there's such a high correlation when women become chairman of the board or chairman of the nominating committee, they are increasing then the representation of top women. Their stock prices are higher, the benefits are great, but there's no way, and that we're going to make it without taking and sharing the younger women up the system. What we do see, as you know, in too many companies in the C-suite, they're bailing out because they do get board opportunities or they get somewhere they feel they can really make a difference. So therefore, what you're saying and we're saying, let's make it purposeful of what we're doing in the insurance industry to really share the good news, the good benefits of what we can do, right? And celebrate. You know, when we did all the events for the book, which are now 50 events, as I said, you know, we call it joyful, right? So here's joy. And there's nobody that exudes that better than you, Margaret. Joy.
Oh, Edie, thank you. Now I learn from the best, and I learn from you every day. And this is that moment, everyone, to just ask, right? Ask. Ask for help. Ask for developmental opportunities. Stretch yourself. Yes, you can. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, use your voice, because we're all here. We're all here together. We want every voice to be heard in every meeting room, on every Zoom call, in every boardroom. Let's let the voices be heard. And I love Rachel's quote here, Edie, and I know you know her well. Every conversation should be an opportunity to make an introduction to another woman. And I'm going to say to lift up another woman. Every chance we get, let's lift, lift, lift.
It's so meaningful. And I think we ask everyone that is sharing today is what are they doing to lift and to give back and to build? Because there, if we think of the thousands and millions of those just in the insurance industry alone, and what that really does mean if everyone galvanizes their support and uses social media to elevate and celebrate others. And what can we also do in terms of the lifelong learning? And I see Eugene Werner and others on, but what are we learning to look at the whole AI, generative AI? So we're ahead of the game as we really encourage and build others, but it takes that new skills and the young people understand that. How do we encourage as we lift?
Absolutely. And this is a moment to shine a very bright light on insurance. As we said, so purpose driven, a great opportunity for growth, for development, for careers, and recession proof, pandemic proof. Come to insurance, everybody. Come to insurance. So Edie, you saw that bright light in insurance over 7 years ago, and you said, how can insurance be a big voice in STEM? So I know you've stayed close to us. I know you've stayed close to me every step of the way. How are we doing? And what advice can you give us as we forge on, as we keep building, as we keep doing the good?
Margaret, I correct you with one thing. It was not I. It was we that did it
thank
together, just the way Ted, you and I saw we could start Million Women Mentors. Margaret, you said we can really do the insurance industry and lead. We can take the staffing industry, we can take other industries and really look at change. And it can be leading in nonprofit organizations. We look at Susan Neely heading up the American Council of Life Insurance and others, and the outreach of what it means for pensions and support, right? For Medicare, for it's just all connected. But I think what we'd love to do is just keep bringing in to Million Women Mentors, bring in to our Women's Business Collaborative. Margaret is really now just championing other companies in, but let's take that of really sharing your dreams. You know, how many people do you talk to a day and ask them not only how they're doing, but what are their dreams? What do you want to happen in the next year? How can I make that happen with you? And so I think if we do it on the book side, we would encourage any of you that want to put together these events. They're just so emotional and joyful because we have been able to encourage just about everyone in the book. 75 out of the 102 people have participated in events already. Most of them have hosted events. So it's just what they can see in terms of, and we're doing that already at 3 or 4 colleges. So it's just what can you do as you really want to instill these wisdoms and really adapt these relationships and never let each other go.
I love that. Edie, it's grassroots and it feels good, everybody, and I like to say, at the beginning, middle, and end of every conversation, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And when we do that, I had someone tell me from a conference recently, she said, I feel heard. Margaret, I feel heard. And that makes such a difference when we feel valued, we feel heard, we feel supported. We can do anything together, Edie. We can do anything together. So,
Margaret, COVID taught us that, right? COVID taught us we've got a whole new world and that women need to be heard on the screen. The CEOs couldn't lecture, they had to listen, right? And we also found it's a new workforce balance, right? We're never going back to being in the office 5 days a week. So whatever we demand and whatever we see the word flexibility and the support. But it doesn't mean that you can't be a senior vice president if that's what you want. But we're encouraging everyone to stay so focused on what you want to achieve and how you want to help others, because we need to focus. What do you want in business? What do you want in life? How are you supporting others in business? How are you supporting others in life? As we really build, and send us an email, Margaret and me, in terms of what you can do. It's just like Margaret, so proud of you in executive search because so many people have been impacted by your help. And that's why aren't we supporting those that are helping us? And what can we do? And just think, when we said we can do 1 million mentors and we surpass that, that's 20 hours, 2.5 million, 3 million. We've got 5 other mentoring programs going. The Enterprising Women, now we set up a program there. We're in 18 communities, going to 30 communities, where we're taking high school STEM girls who really want to, mostly underserved. This year we hit 2,000 girls, 50 scholarships, but we can name 10 other efforts that spun off from our Million Women Mentors. And they're
so
all achieving amazing success and increasing the numbers. and making sure we don't fall off this pipeline.
Absolutely. And we're building this pipeline. And Dr. Nunnery, who is our senior advisor for DEIB and WII, Edie, he always says we have to build this pipeline and we have to build the pathway to the pipeline. And no one does it better than the Actuarial Foundation, who are so active with us, the big M in STEM, doing such great work to educate on math and financial literacy, and seeing the power that math can bring, unlocking opportunities every step of the way, especially in insurance. So, Edie, we're talking a lot about journey, and I do want to get to this, and then I want to open up for some comments and questions in the chat. So this journey is evolving, and you referenced that. There is still a need for representation and equity, not just in insurance, but everywhere. How can we do this? How can we actionably focus? How can we focus with intention and joy together?
Well, that's really key. And for everybody that's on this call to think about that, it is really, what is your focus, right? What is our focus? And is, what do you want to impact? What do you want to join? Where do you really bring in and support? And it may be you want to focus on helping two entrepreneurs in your procurement system, right? It may be that what you really want to do is not only a board position for you, but how do you do that with others? How active are you in the organizations that you care about, right? And I think we want to do a call for action, Margaret, because
Yes.
we want to hear your voices, your wisdom. And so it's just so important. I think rather than get so upset about what the country is going through, if you care, figure out what action you can take, all right, to make sure that we keep some positivity, we keep the energy. And if we can't use DEI as it is, we're going to make inclusion the operable word, that we make certain that we really make a difference. If we don't use ESG as it was, we know that this whole purpose is so important in terms of what's going to make a difference, because young people only want to work for purposeful companies, right?
It's so
And
true.
so that's what we want to do, is make sure that our language is crystal clear. And
I love
Margaret, I think it'd be so great for those that are listening to not only, you might share some of the comments, questions, wisdoms. And again, Margaret and I call out to everyone to be in touch with us about what you can do and where you want to join us, in addition to the good work you're already doing with the Women in Insurance Group, at Accord, or any of the other organizations.
Oh, thank you, Edie. And we do want to open up for your comments, how you're feeling. We've got some time built in here because Edie wants to hear your voice, and we all want to be together in this conversation. It is a conversation. It's where we learn, and it's a safe space, everybody. We care about you, this industry, developing and going forward. We do the work of inclusion. That is what we do. And focus on representation and equity. There is a business value and there is a heart value to that, everybody. So anyone want to open up with some reactions, some comments? This is your opportunity to hear directly from wonderful Edie. And Edie, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your light and your love.
Thank you for together again is, hey, Jean, why don't you jump in and then we'll go from person to what you're thinking.
Yeah, thank you. This has been just wonderful to hear you both back and forth since I know you both so well. So I've really enjoyed the conversation, and thank you both so much for what you have done over the years. And I'm thinking back to when I met you first, Edie, years ago at an AARP Foundation, and the work you were doing to lift women up there who needed scholarships, and that just a little bit of help to get them out of where they were. I have reflected on this topic for many years, and certainly have reflected on all the changes in the last year or so. And certainly having come from a very male-dominated industry in the beginning of my career in automotive, sort of found myself in insurance and shocked decades later that there wasn't more progress. And you're right, Margaret, progress has been made. And so that's good. But I guess in backward reflecting, thinking, oh, wouldn't it have been more by this time? And so that's when I threw myself, when I was at MetLife, into the volunteer role of US chair of the D&I group. And that was a wonderful way to meet people at MetLife, and wonderful just to be part of trying to move something forward. My thought, however, is, and what I've been thinking about over the last year or so, is we need men to do this with us. And, so often, and thank you, Ted, for being in this group. So often I see women trying really hard at all levels of the organization to lift each other up and move things forward. But I feel like we need to bring more men along as well.
1,000%, right? And Margaret and we started a group called Men as Allies, right? And it's so important. Catalyst has the Mark group of men, but it just means to reach out to men and ask them to be the ally. And I think, Margaret, you said, do ask, right?
Yes.
And is just because women often don't take the initiative and find out which men are real allies with you and bring them into support. I just have to say, on our WBC board of directors, we have 5 men, right? And we're
So
serving
smart.
and businesswomen, but we've got to bring them in and make sure there are advocates and supporters. And it's reverse mentoring as
Yeah.
well.
It really is. It really is. And even here with WII, I want to shout out Maroon Murad from Verisk. He believed from the very, very beginning, brought us our data diva, brought us that amazing data team. Randy Tamir from USAA, a great ally, friend, champion. Keith Wolf, now at Guy Carpenter, believes, raises his hand. What do you need? How can I help? And so many others, and others to come. This is so important, Jean, and in a great opportunity. And we saw it at MetLife, and we continue to see the great work at MetLife today. So
And we
thank
agree
you
as
for,
well.
yes, thank you for planting those seeds.
Yes, of course.
Well, and Margaret, we may just start and ask all the men we know to absolutely, we can celebrate every woman to celebrate 2 men that are doing it, right? We can absolutely build. So thank you,
Love
Jen.
that. I love that. I think we can pull that into our day of action. That will be something we can all do. So thank you for that idea, Edie. As always, we do this together. Anyone else? Any thoughts, any reactions, any questions? This is your time to ask Edie for some advice and some of her wisdom.
Us both. Renee, what about you? Are you there? Well, who else would like to go?
I see Beth coming off mute. Hello, Beth
I'll
Jarecki.
say
With
hi.
her beautiful book. Thank you,
I've been enjoying the book, Edie. And I was we had discussed pulling out some of the quotes from the book, and I got the book and I was very overwhelmed. I said, there's so many good things. I don't know what to pull out. So Margaret pulled out some things, and I could pull out, so there was really so many good things in here, but I like, and Anna, who's sitting next to me, is gonna try to pronounce her last name, Delisa Guerriere, has said, she, in her, one of her advices is 3 things to focus on is people, putting the right team together because it takes a team to execute, put a package together so people can see the vision, and purpose. The most successful projects have been those with a mission to make an impact. So I thought that was really nice. And I love 3s. I love nicely packaged things. And even packaging is one of the is one of the items. So I thought it was great. There really is, there's definitely something that works for everyone in here, but I having been through this process, is there, I'm sure it's so hard to pick one, but I'm just curious if there's like a couple that you would point to that you found most helpful, or something that you hadn't heard before that struck you in the process.
Well, I think there's one, I don't know if you know the name Cindy Kent, she's in the book. And we did one session out in San Francisco, which was amazing, with a big venture capital science group. And Margaret Giordis is in the book, who was CEO of Ancestry, CEO of Mattel, and is just giving back now for women amazingly. But Cindy was there, and Cindy was at 3M, and then she was chief operating officer of 2 big health companies. She said, and she just resigned from one to go on 4 boards, and called it soul joy. Is what brings joy to your soul, right? Can you
Love that.
focus on soul joy? All right. So I think as you go through and pick out those 5 wisdoms, that's just one of Cindy's that we've all jumped on. We've got, as Maya Angelou said, get rid of negative people, right? And focus on those that bring us joy, but bring your soul joy. And if you're not getting it, let's reevaluate where it can be. And let me just add, I think the others is invite others to the dance, all right? Like we're doing a women's forum in New York tomorrow night with the book. And I know that Tanya's coming and bringing 1 or 2 people. Anybody else in the New York area will get you an invitation for tomorrow night. But it's everywhere you go, issue invitation and invite others, right? And is clearly, some of you may be interested in the communities and other organizations. I happen to be very interested in the political world, and I've jumped on years ago to support the women in the Senate, right? And really work events. We just had a big one in Washington for 6 of the women senators. We're gonna do one in New York on May 7th for 8 of the women senators. And it's but you pick what you think, and then make sure you bring others to the dance.
I love that. Edie, thank you. And it's that whole spirit of welcoming in, not screening out, but welcoming in, going to the yes, going to the good, and finding the soul joy. I am going to use that. So thank you, Cindy Kent.
Thank
And
you. Thanks for that,
Denise.
Edie.
And Margaret, I'd love to jump on what Edie just said in terms of inviting people to opportunities. STEM Connector next week in Dallas is doing a conference on cultivating career success for women in STEM. And I'm actually going to be leading a panel, which is nurturing future women leaders. So I can't tell you how furiously I have been scribbling away at all of the things that you said. I will be absolutely citing some of the slides that you showed today, because I mean, it's just the ideas. I love what Edie said. What do you want to have happen in the next 5 years? And how can I help you get there? That's so beautiful. And then also just the idea, gosh, there's just so many, the slide that you showed that already half of males have somebody actively cultivating their leadership. And we don't have that with women. Like, what can we, just knowing that makes me think more about who could I just be asking that question. Just knowing that the more of them need it. And Edie has given me a phrase to say to somebody to actually be intentional has been super helpful. So I'm just very grateful. And if anybody wants to learn more about the conference we're having in the Dallas area, maybe Kylie or Ted, we can drop something in that chat. It's coming up quickly, but it's going to be really meaningful. So thank you for letting me share that.
Oh,
Janine,
Janine,
that's great.
thank you.
Support that. You know, Margaret, I just pulled Susan Neely of ACLI, right? Because as she said, is you've got to take what you want with purpose and get the most out of it. But she says, take calculated risk, right? Get more of what you like and less of what you don't like, right? Take a cycle of lifting up others. Be comfortable with ambiguity, right? And build the tough bridges to what you want so that everybody with their 5 wisdoms are things that we can say. So there are 500 over 500 wisdoms. We can live them every day.
Absolutely. And I want to thank Janine. Janine, STEM Connector, you have been amazing partners. So we are sending our love, our energy, support, our quotes, our 5 wisdoms, bringing them to you next week in Dallas. And let's keep this energy going. If you have any events that you want us to amplify, we have All Intent. We have our beautiful website with STEM Connector. And maybe, Kylie, we can go to that screen as we are closing down this amazing hour of power, of energy, of light, and soul joy. Soul joy. We're going to keep it going. So, Edie, I want to say a big thank you to you. I want to flash here on the screen. Please go to our new website and get involved with all of us at WII@STEMconnector.com. We need you. We welcome you. We're going to make it fun. We're going to bring our soul joy to it, Edie, every step of the way. And we celebrate you, Edie Frazier, this month in Women's History Month, but every month. It is just, the goosebumps continue. The joy continues, that soul joy. I've got it. And to you, Edie Frazier, and to all of our wonderful WII community, I thank you, and we're going to keep this purpose and passion going.
Margaret, and I think as we close, it's gratitude to each other. You know, Kimber Matarazzo, who's in the book, who was chairman of the Committee of 200, you know, what she does is do what you and I try to do, is stop and do a gratitude walk every day just to know what we're grateful for. All right. So those are just amazing wisdoms to keep us on the edge of upward mobility and happiness.
Oh, Edie, that is beautiful. And let's take that gratitude walk. I know that I will today. The sun is shining. So much to be grateful for. I'm grateful for all of you. Grateful for you, Edie. Namaste, everyone. Until next time, we're going to keep the good work, great work, love
and
work
reach out to us. So not only for STEM Connector, but overall. And if you're really interested, Margaret's sending everybody a book. Thank you, Margaret Milken. But we're also doing not only events in some 30 cities with the book, but we're doing lots of online like this. So just think about what you'd like to do. And we really include you. We make the circle ever larger.
Absolutely. Say yes to Edie Frazier, everybody. Say yes. Have a great day. Have a soul joy day, everybody.
Bye-bye.